Chef Christopher, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. Congratulations on
Thank you.
us checking you out on Yes Chef. The first thing I really want to chat with you and ask you is, what do the words Yes Chef mean to you?
So in a coalition in like a restaurant, especially fine dining, especially Michelin. I have background in Michelin, where your sous chef or whatever it is, calls out a ticket, and in unison, you say yes, chef, and it signifies teamwork. It signifies that we're a team, that we're all for here for one purpose, and it's to serve our clients, our guests, whoever it is. You're all on the same page, and we are a team.
Yeah, because I luckily before in my previous life I did go to culinary school. I was training to be a sous chef at a restaurant, and then journalism took over. So I do have quite a bit of experience. It was a time when I have a little baby, and night shifts was not the move. So, but I don't
Yeah, if you have
regret
a
it.
kid or if you want like a social life, don't be a chef. Like there's no room for that. I mean, traveling now as a private chef, it's hard to, see my girlfriend and make time, but you got to make time.
Yeah, because I don't think people realize you got to be at all the dinners. People are out to dinner.
Hmm.
That's you cooking. Special
Yeah, and it's
events.
also
That's you.
prepping. It's,
Hmm.
prepping, ordering, being a chef. It's not just like being a chef nowadays, it's very rarely cooking. Like I don't cook much, if I was in a restaurant. It's more menu design, babysitting, teamwork, leading a team as opposed to, being on the line. Obviously, sometimes you have to be on the line and you have to cook, but mostly we're behind the scenes. We're
Yeah, you're
that
doing
moving part.
schedules.
Yeah, scheduling.
Inventory days. I'm sure you love
Oh, don't
inventory
say
days.
no.
Eddie, so I'm really glad I got to talk to you because I think that in Yes Chef, you were one of the people there that really made me feel like the show was really grounded because there were some moments where I was like, that's real frustration right there. That what's happening to him is he is feeling it. And honestly, it stressed me out at sometimes. Tell me about your experience on the show.
So it was an amazing experience. First of all the chefs were just truly amazing people. We have a group text where we text basically daily. The experience on the show, we were kind of segregated, and we didn't have technology. We didn't have cell phones and laptops and all that. So we really bonded. We call it trauma bonding because we were like put through the ringer with the stress of the show, with not being able to see our loved ones, our family, like on a daily basis, we had nothing besides coffee and Red Bulls and each other. So we really bonded. It's an amazing thing that we knew that there can only be one winner, but we were all going to take something out of it. Those who wanted to take something out of it. I can't speak for some of them, but most of them, we wanted something else out of this besides just going there for the grand prize and, meeting, celebrity, Jose Andrés and Martha Stewart. We went out there to, I could say that I went out there to also network, and that's where I'm at now.
Yeah, networking is all so important. Now, one of the things, of course, is that you get nominated for the show because of maybe a take, a certain attitude, something that some of your fellow coworkers, family say you're a little rough. So, did were you able to take a look at yourself a little bit better and maybe say, I need to change A, B, or C after this experience?
Absolutely. I've been dealing with it for quite some time now where, as you can see on the show, I'm a recovering alcoholic. Where when I was using drinking and drugging and all that, I was very angry. All I cared about was one thing. I went through the motions of being a chef. I cooked, I created, but I was very short fused. And then I would go outside, have a drink, and I'd come back mellow because I was getting my fix. But since sobriety, I decided to, really take a look at myself because when I was using, I was always pointing the finger at other line cooks, commis, line chefs. It was never my fault. But looking back at it now, it's like, no, like everything was on my shoulders. So I've been in a process of fixing myself and addressing those shortcomings, short fuses, anger, all those issues that I deal with on a daily basis, even if it's not in the kitchen. I try to take something out of everything, whether it's to do something or not to do something. And being on the show actually showed that, I am vulnerable. I put it out there for millions of people to know that I'm in recovery, that I am not perfect. I mean, even Jose says himself, he's a two-star Michelin chef. He himself is not perfect. I don't think Martha ever admitted that, but nonetheless, um, that's not here nor there. But yeah, it's seeing myself on TV, seeing it in real life where I do have issues and I am working on them. Even before the show, it's just working on my shortcomings and addressing them.
No, and it's interesting the show that it addresses that for chefs because it's a really high stressed environment. I don't know how I was just telling people here in the station, you don't understand the pressure of leading a team until you're in the kitchen, things are on fire and you gotta direct traffic. I mean, my one of my best friends, he was my chef, not while we're on the line. You
Mm-mm.
know, it just it's another level of stress that I'm happy I got to experience because it really, so much respect to everyone, anyone, whether you're just bringing the new dishes from the dishwashing station all the way to the one planning everything and everything, everyone in between. It's such a beautiful art, and you have to be crazy to want to do this. And I grew up in restaurants. That's what it is. What is it? Tell me, tell me a little about just your experience in growing in kitchens because I hear you didn't necessarily take um the the school course. You just did it by experience.
Yeah, I mean I'm on the cusp of like old school versus new school. I was on the cusp of being back in the day working for French chefs that I'd get a plate thrown at my head because the duck wasn't rendered properly, and then he made me clean it up. Versus now, if you sneeze at someone wrong, they're trying to have a lawsuit against you. I'm very cutthroat. It's what if there's not someone working for me that is giving me what I need? Guess what? Get out. I'll find another one. Unfortunately, here in Florida, the talent pool is very slim. In LA and New York, what, you're not working out, get out, give me another guy. And he's probably doing it better than you. But at age of 20, I took over my first restaurant in Palm Springs, which was, it didn't help my ego because, I'm 20 years old, I'm making good money. I'm driving nice cars. I'm living the life where someone that's spending hundreds of thousands of dollars for, whether you're going for an AA or a BA in culinary school, I was kind of handed it. Granted, I was handed it, but I wasn't. I can cook. I was shown how to essentially make money. Overhead, labor, food costs. And those things were crucial to me. And I'll be forever in debt to, Colleen and for showing me that. And then it just kind of grew and grew and grew to where I took over restaurants. I was business partners with some high-end restaurateurs out here. And I just kind of climbed the ranks. At one point, I remember in my life, I was probably like 19, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna start taking cooking seriously. Yeah, I was doing short order cooks, breakfast, and I knew that I wanted to be a chef many, many, many years ago. My parents got a divorce. My dad was dating some females, and he asked me to plate, deli meat and crackers, which is now charcuterie, but that wasn't a thing back then. It was okay, here's some sliced meat, here's some cheeses, put on a plate. And I remember this lady's eyes when I plated it, and she goes, wow, that's beautiful. It probably looked like crap now that I look back at it because I was 13 years old. But then I was like, man, you can get to people's hearts by their mouths and how you feed them. And it just grew and grew and grew to where I am at today, where I'm on NBC plating these dishes in front of the world.
It's a really, really important task that you have. You are probably part of so many people's special occasions. I know we're planning for like this weekend. My wife and I were picking our restaurants for our 1 year anniversary. We're picking our restaurants for my daughter's graduation dinner. And I mean, your food is part of those celebrations. And I think that's what people need to understand. That's why it's so important. And, I appreciate you spending a few minutes with me, Chef Morales. I thought you were great in the show. I really enjoyed really just how real you seem in the show. And I think you gave out really good vibes as far as, good representation. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And congratulations on your anniversary and your daughter graduating.
I appreciate it. It was good to
See,
meet you,
see
and
why you look so young is because you got out of the restaurant business. You don't look like you have a daughter old enough to graduate. You got out of the restaurant business and you still look young. Congratulations.
thank you. I appreciate it. I hope to travel to Florida soon and try some of your food.
Sounds good, man. Thank you.